Christina's in it to win it. Good four. Nice job. Nice job. Coach Rick Shady here. Extreme Ease, you made it through 28 days of boot camp. You went through some exercises, some routines that are way out of your comfort zone. You woke up at 4 a.m., you made that bed. Maybe you didn't make that before, but now you have. You've changed up and got uncomfortable. And that's what it's about. 28 days of boot camp is really taking you through kind of a military action style that takes you through actions that maybe you're not comfortable with. And by setting a routine, maybe you like waking up early. You got up as early as you can get a lot of tasks done by operating and treating your brain into these systems where you're actually feeling better about yourself because you actually made your bed. You got the first task of the day done. And you also added your bulletproof coffee. Hopefully that energy carries through the next, I'm going to call chapter 2 of Extreme Me. And this, what we're actually going to do in chapter 2 is really function and get the right forms of exercise in. We're going to teach you how to mentally get through some of the most painful workouts. And then 2, we're going to concentrate on mind over food. That's chapter 2. And really programming your mind, because you already have a set routine, that's going to be second nature. So now it's actually getting into proper form and working on the muscle alignment and brain alignment. So let me recap the 28 days of boot camp. We did detox. So after detox and cleanse, that's when we are eating healthy. We're actually programming our gut that this is the kind of food that we're going to be eating from now on. But if you do, you can't eliminate all the bad food because you still want to incorporate, because you don't want to have reactions if you do eat a little piece of bread or you have a little piece of chocolate. So you want to keep it about 90% healthy, 10% maybe off plan, or little, I call it little cheat meals. If you have a couple bites of ice cream, that sort of thing, that's fine, because we don't want our body to go into shock. And I've seen it over and over and over again, where the healthy people, they go gluten-free, they go corn-free, sugar-free, and then they have one meal or a night of drinking and they just feel awful and their body's going into attack because it doesn't recognize it right at first. So here we go. We're going to talk first about the kind of exercises that we need to be working on for chapter 2. And when we're talking about our exercises, we showed you in the second workout out in the field, Extreme Me fields, is we need to get in weight training, like resistance training. We need to get into slow position, proper form for squatting or push-up, and it's slow movements and explode up, slow movements and back up. So when we're talking about weight training, we're actually going to do that after our concentration set. So if you're first thing in your workout, you want to get rid of your belly fat, your thighs, your top section. You're going to concentrate on that for about 10 minutes before you get into weight training or resistance training or HIIT training. So concentration area, then weight training, you can go through the slow motions and get through that probably about 30 minutes. And you want to make these good movements. You want to make them about 30-second reps. So the actual 30 seconds sets, so you're not just doing 8-second sets. So once you do that resistance weight training, you go to your failure. If it's too easy and you can go up to 12, add on more weight. Then following that, it's what we call like a plyo explode set. And so we are getting into about 10 to 12 minutes of, it could be rebounding, it could be box jump, it could be jump rope, it could be burpees. There's a lot of plyometrics, but we're talking about jumping. We're talking about getting into an anaerobic state. So at first we're concentrating on core, then we're concentrating on a little bit of anaerobic, Now we're in aerobic and now anaerobic with plyometrics. Then you're going to follow that, and we did a little bit in our workout, is about 5 to 10 minutes of static or eccentric movements, which means sitting in a certain form in your squat or your push-up, sitting in that until lactic acid builds up and we're hitting the inner fibers. So that's one kind of a workout. We're building blocks on what we want to concentrate on: resistance training, plyometrics, and then a static. So that's one form of workout that you should be hitting 2-3 times a week. If you're a muscle builder, you're going to be hitting that 4 times a week. If you're trying to lose weight, I would say two times a week. Then there's the kind of workout, if you're going to do, I like group training, if you can get them in with a class 2 times a week. So before the class, we're doing 10 minutes of core work, maybe some abs, some crunches, or concentration, or even if you like to work on your biceps, triceps, want to get those formed, you're going to do 10 minutes before your class. You can do the actual class to your max benefit, do whatever group bonding is what we call it. And then following, we actually want to get to an anaerobic state, preferably like a Stairmaster or row. And then we're going to cool down in the sauna. Sounds weird, cool down in the sauna. It's our body, our internal combustion is going to start cooling down once we stop moving, but we're heating on the outside with the sauna, getting all toxins out. And I prefer 2 times a week if you can get that in. And once a week, I want to see a good run as far as you can go. Try to get at least 60 minutes in of a good run. See how long you go. If you can go for an hour and a half, that's great. But the key is not to stop. The anaerobic or aerobic workout, want that heart rate 140, 150, no higher than that. But that's 1 time a week is to get that aerobic workout in. And the key is to plan out your workouts, know exactly what you're going to do for the week, and stay consistent. And the workout doesn't stop, preferably in the morning, but your workout doesn't stop there. You're going to move all day long. And I'm watching steps, and I'm seeing that you're working out in the morning, but I don't see a whole lot of movement in between. Now, your job can tie you down and keep you busy, but it doesn't matter what you do, you can keep moving. If you have a desk job, get a headset, walk around. I have seen people have bikes at their desk, seen treadmills at the desk. People have a foot pedaler at their desk. People have balls at their desk. But if your job requires you to move around, why not take the stairs? Why not go for a walk on lunch? Get some sun. So the movements do not stop all day long. And it's about spending the energy, not conserving it. You're allowed 1 rest day during the week, and that's actually to build up all those levels all over again. But it's really concentrated on getting moving. And that's what we're going to work on in chapter 2, is to keep moving. Because your body needs to wear down to the point where you are exhausted, and it has to rebuild those energy levels. And it's through your mitochondria. So in each cell, you have mitochondria. Think as little caterpillars inside the mitochondria. Now those little mitochondria, they're your energy factories. They actually produce the energy and the ATP that goes outside and provides the energy for those cells. And over time, you build a little bit more mitochondria. Your body has to build factories. Think of it as Detroit. They have these factories and they start closing down because of non-movement. And then all of a sudden, the economy starts growing. Oh, our body's moving just like Detroit. So they have to build the factories to supply the more people that come into the city. Just like your body has to adapt and produce more factories. And once you do that, your body will have more energy. And the second part of this chapter 2 is coming next week. It's called Temptation Week. Temptation Week is tricking your mind and treating your mind as I'm in control up here of what goes in this pie hole. And when you put things out on the countertop, and let's say it's your favorite treat, your favorite candy bar, favorite food that you used to like, macaroni and cheese, I don't know, mine's popcorn. The resistance has to be there to program your mind that you can get over that temptation. And it's programming this over this, because your feel-good hormone, it's in your gut. 95% of your serotonin's down here. Tell them, when you eat good, or when you actually eat this, you feel great because you had that food. And it's about temptation and getting over that. Temptation of getting up in the middle of the night and go eating something, or waking up and eating a protein bar. No protein bars, by the way, no chocolate protein bars, and no forms of processed soy. So if you see processed soy in your bars or your powders, that's not allowed. So Temptation Week is about getting over your umami, is what we call it, that fifth deliciousness taste bud. Once you get through this week of Temptation Week, you'll be proud of how far you came. You can't have one bite of your most temptation food. And by putting it on the counter, or even going to a restaurant and seeing somebody else have a chili covered burrito with tons of cheese, and that's your favorite thing, you can't have it. But I suggest that you be around it, you look at it, you smell it, and that's Temptation Week. The more you smell your temptation foods and visualize it, the more you'll get over it. And all you're doing is, it takes about 1,000 reps or 10,000 hours of seeing your temptation food and being tempted to have it, but you didn't. It only takes that long. It actually takes that long to where you never crave it ever again. And things like Oreos, Coke, Doritos, a lot of people are hooked on those, and they cannot get off of it. And it's a very hard process. So Temptation Week is about that. So all I add in right here is a couple pieces on what we kind of touched on with our hormones, and we're going to talk about stress. And stress is a big part of our lives, and you have to delete as much as you can, including drama and getting rid of losers out of your life, because those are problems that you don't need, don't want. Do not take on more problems. Someone asked, hey, can you watch my dogs for me, that sort of thing, and you know they're losers, do not do it. It's that you need to get rid of these dramas out of your life and the stressors out of your life. Somebody has alcohol problems, drug issues, somebody has family issues. You want to get rid of those, and you don't need those in your life. But stress, it's causing a lot of the men to get angry. Is you're face to face with someone, let's say it's your spouse, and you're starting to get angry, and you're actually making it worse by talking. And it's not really you're making the situation worse, you're making your body worse, because your body starts to lower testosterone and raise estrogen levels. The more you start arguing and talking and raising your voice, you're raising your estrogen levels, which isn't doing your testosterone levels even any good. Once you realize you're getting to a point where you could be name calling or exploding, you need to be like, I hear you. You're going to say, I hear you. You're going to leave the room, go reset, think about the process, think about what's going on, and come back to the situation and be like, you know what, you're right, or this is where I was coming from, and drop it. Because it's not going to resolve any issue once it gets to arguing. So that's a big piece of it. And the women, don't try to be the motherly effect to your spouse. Don't try to coddle your men, because that's not what they want. The men want to be heroes. So make your man feel like a hero, make him feel wanted, and explain, give him all sorts of praise for what he's actually doing. So that's the men and women side. We'll go into a lot of detail in chapter 2.0. So we are done with 28 days of boot camp. If you want to grow your facial hair, that's fine. If that's what makes you feel a little bit better about your self-pride, self-comfort, that sort of thing. I really want to see you start cleaning up your body. I want to see clean-cut hair. I want to see some body hair be shaven. I want you to be proud of who you are. And if you choose to wake up at 4 a.m., that's your choice. But I really want to see you get in a routine and get a lot of tasks done. So try to stick with a 4 a.m. if that works for you, or 4:15. It's daylight savings here, and that's going to be a drag. Now, last part I'm going to leave you with here is it's really about having positive attitude and self-motivation. By telling yourself, I am wonderful, I am great, I look great, I'm satisfied with the way I am now, it's self-talking. By doing the reverse, saying, I only lost 1 pound, my thighs are thick, my shoulders are huge, I could do better, I'm sorry, that's actually self-doubting. It's not doing you any good. And it really doesn't matter to me, but it's self-positive talk here. And when you express that to other people, empowers you, not them. So we call empowering others. So when you say, yeah, I'm feeling fantastic today, I'm doing great, the process, it's going good, I'm getting muscle. And I think you look great too. I think you've done very well by being my friend. And by doing that, you become a better person. You're going to improve on your actual body fat and muscle. And really, it's not concentrating on how much weight you lost, but we can tell by the pictures. It's very funny how we've moved one part to the other. And this is different from any other kind of weight loss program, because people have dropped weight, but they're losing muscle. Where here, we may be dropping weight, but the muscle, it's maintaining, and I'm seeing it in the pictures. You may say, it's down, but no, we've seen it picture after picture after picture in this group that you've dropped weight, but that muscle's still there. You're defining the muscle, and the more muscle you have, the more energy, the more fat it burns. So that really doesn't matter. We've seen pictures of people that have been 150 pounds with a lot of fat and 150 pounds with a lot of muscle, and they look fantastic, but they look like the ladies, they look like they weigh 130 pounds. With guys with more muscle, if this one was 150 pounds, they have more muscle, they look like they weigh 170, but they're still around 150. So don't concentrate on the weight, concentrate on inches around the waist. So if you were a 35 and you went down to a 33-inch waist in 28 days, that is more than advanced progress than what we've got. And it's pretty much naturally. We didn't need any magic pills or anything like that. And that's what we're going to do. So Extreme Me's, that's your educational tip for this weekend. Fantastic workout. You guys were super strong here. I was watching it mentally. You had a lot of fun doing the tug of war. So let's start this week, Temptation Week. Get those foods out on the counter. Get those temptation foods out on the counter. Have your workout plan ready for the week. And the classes are the ones you're really going to have to plan for. So that's what we're going to work on this next week in Chapter 2.0. So, Extreme Me's, let's have a good Sunday. Love you guys. Peace.